Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sprint 250 review. This was a regular 2-week sprint, and let's get started. I'll start with the overview, then I'll have a community update, then we'll have Gilbert on the UI, Adam on providers, and Joe on the platform. As you can see here, we had a pretty reasonable number of PRs merged this sprint, 80 PRs, but a lot more PRs were closed with a split mostly in tests and enhancements. I haven't dug into why it's so much higher, so I'll take a look at that for next time. On the community side, I have an announcement that we're going to release Quinteros 2 very soon. We actually wanted to release it last sprint, but we're having trouble building it because it's on an older CentOS version that has since been moved into the vault. So a lot of the build scripts weren't working anymore because they were pointing to a location that doesn't exist anymore. But we're hoping to get that out very soon. We're releasing a Quinteros 2 because there were two CVEs that were found in ManageIQ by some of our users. And I just want to thank them for reporting those. And again, we're hoping to get those out very soon. And over to Gilbert on the UI.
Thanks, Jason. So for the UI, we had some bugs. So starting with the bugs, I fixed a generic object embedded table. I also fixed the Explorer title with issue. Sam fixed a issue where Chrome was autofilling passwords when editing a schema. And then I fixed a key value list component typing bug. A couple enhancements. So Sam converted the settings table details tab to use Carbon components, and Keenan finished testing with Ruby 3.2 and 3.3. Then some other miscellaneous PRs. The Dependabot bumped the HTTP proxy middleware version to 2.0.7. Keenan also added specs to ensure uploaded images are image files, and the Dependabot also bumped the elliptic version from 6.5.7 to 6.6.0. Next slide. So just going over the enhancements that Sam finished. So this is kind of the before and after of the new settings details tab page using the Carbon components. That's it for the UI. Next is Adam.
Thanks, Gilbert. For providers this sprint, Nasser made some changes to Amazon to delegate the refresh EMS method at the class level up to the parent cloud manager. We'll get into why he was doing that in the next bullet. He also fixed an issue with AWS database types for speeds that are faster than a gigabit per second. When this was originally written, that was the fastest. We're replacing it with normalized values that match the instance type. So it's like performance is high or very high. When we got into like 5 and 25 gigabit per second for database type speeds, it wasn't handling that properly. So he got that fixed up. So it's normalized equal to the flavors. For Azure, we fixed a bug where the Azure Network Manager was, if you did a refresh of that, it would disconnect any managed images, and that was due to the settings for the parser being stored at the Cloud Manager level. So the intention was always to only refresh at the parent manager level, and that would refresh all the child managers. In this case, that wasn't being done. So we got that fixed as well as for the child managers delegate the refresh class methods up to the parent manager. The class methods are called by the schedule timer. So that was what was causing the issue. So we got that fixed up for Azure and Amazon and a couple other providers that had a similar issue. For embedded Terraform, the Terraform team did add a retirement support for Terraform catalog items so that you can tear down any resources that were provisioned by a service catalog item. Next slide. For IBM Cloud also had a similar issue with the schedule timer. So he made a change to delegate for VPC and Power VS network managers up to the parent. Nasser also fixed a memory parser bug on KubeVirt. They changed where they were storing the memory attributes for the KubeVirt VM, so we're updated to handle the old location as well as the new one. For the flow gem, Keenan separated the workflow context loggers so that if you're running multiple instances of a workflow at the same time in parallel, it's easier to identify which logging output is for which workflow. And he also refactored the choice state operations to use send rather than an enormous case statement like it was previously. So that was a nice fix. And that's it for providers. Over to Joe.
Thanks, Adam. For platform enhancements this sprint, Keenan added testing support for Ruby 3.3 across several repositories. He also upgraded the RPM build to use Ruby 3.3, and Brandon switched pod images and appliances to also use Ruby 3.3. I upgraded RSpec Rails to support Rails 7.1. Keenan enhanced the way we build the requirements.txt file for future upgrades in the Ansible environment. And since OpenStruct is becoming a standalone gem in newer Rubies, Keenan removed the usage of OpenStruct in virtual attributes to avoid having to add a dependency there. And in core, I started converting Rails secrets to Rails credentials, as Rails 7.1 removes access to changing these secrets, as the credentials are the new way to do it. There's more work in this area to become in the future. Next slide. For platform bugs this sprint, Adam fixed a bug where provisioning could attempt to call a non-existent association storages on a data center, and that was causing a failure. Next, I locked the URI gem to 0.13.x as version 1.0 was released and it broke compatibility. We'll be upgrading to version 1.0 in the future, as they have fixed this in 1.0.1. In Appliance Console, Jason fixed some warnings around positional arguments with erb.new. And I fixed inactive support deprecation, a different positional argument deprecation with ERB new, and an old Rails 4 monkey patch, as we deprecated that long time ago. Next slide.
And that's all for our Sprint 250 review. The next Sprint review 251 will be on November 27th at the usual place and time. And as always, I'd like to thank all the presenters today, everyone who's contributed to Manage IQ and our community. Thank you.